I've been skateboarding pretty intensely for 24 years, nonstop. That's what I did for a career. And the whole way through, people would say, well, just wait till you're 30 and see how your knees feel, see how your back feels, et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to go through what my body actually looks like at the end of the entire thing. I'm 34 now. So in my 30s, things are supposed to go downhill. How is everything working out? Well, the truth is there is some truth to it, but there's also what I think is a more interesting conversation, which is how much do you actually move compared to being sedentary? What is the perfect middle ground in actually having like the optimal body at 30? Because you can actually go one of both ways. You can do something really intensely, maybe the way that I do, or there's somebody else who works in an office all day, every day, and doesn't really exercise. How bad is that for them? And I think that the amount of skateboarding I did is probably actually better than being on the opposing side. So first of all, let's go through the normal injuries that you see on any skateboarder that gets past the age of, even if you've been skateboarding for a few years, you're gonna have scars on the elbows. That's a very common thing. You're gonna have scars all over the shins, and then you're gonna have scars on your lower back. So these are the three areas you hit the most. If you're going for anything or skating ground that's even remotely bad, which is outside of the skate park, these are the injuries you're gonna get, which is interesting because nowadays, with skaters getting so good at contests and skating skate parks and then taking that into contests and building careers through that, you're probably gonna have a lot of skaters who don't have scars all over their hands, elbows, backs, and shins. But I absolutely do. So those are the major, those are the skin injuries that I've gotten throughout the year. Now, in terms of the major things that really hurt, I would say the wrists are a huge one. So at first, for me, my wrist hurt so bad for so many years when I was a teenager that I couldn't even put my palm on the ground without feeling intense pain. I will say this, at this age, I think my wrists are okay, but they do kind of go out from time to time. What I would say would be relatively easily. So if I grab something wrong or move wrong, I would say that my wrist can be sore for the rest of the day. And again, I don't know if this is the factor of being 30 or the factor of skateboarding. I'll also say that not completely on the opposing side of this, but my wife has a lot of similar injuries that I do. And we talk about our lower backs a lot. So skateboarding, I just went through an injury. This is also a video update about the injury that I have with my lower back, which is why I'm not skateboarding as much right now. I was getting really excited about doing it again. I did it again. And on that day, I actually hurt my lower back, which was strange because I'm usually skating very consistently and not getting injured often at all. I take 2 months off, I get back into it, and then I get injured. So I do actually think there's a hard balance between how much are you doing something and your body's just used to the pain of the thing, or if you're actually doing this thing that's good for your body and it's built up the strength, and when you don't do it for 2 months, then you can't really do it well without getting injured. Other injuries that people talk about are the knees and, well, the lower back as well. I think when people think about skaters jumping off big things, when you look at someone like Jaws, Aaron Hamoki, who jumps down, the biggest thing, every comment is, this dude's knees when he's in his 30s are gonna be abysmal, but he's in his 30s now and he's still doing the same things. I think the pain of jumping off stuff is actually more in your lower back. I think that's where you'll feel it overall as you get older. But again, you don't really know what's from just aging or what's from the actual skating itself. In terms of the knees, my knees actually feel fine. They do have this consistent pop to them, but I don't really struggle with my knees very much, especially since I started doing squats. So a year ago, I got really into doing squats pretty much every single day. I started doing pistol squats, and I will say at first they did feel a bit fragile. I did go through sort of like a meniscus tear as I went through skating a lot, and that's something you'll notice as you're skating a lot. Your body will tell you, hey, stop doing this. So when my right knee hurt, I had to take off 3 months, and it was the worst 3 months of my entire childhood because I was skating 8-hour days every single day. But now at 34, after jumping off tons of stuff, filming 20 video parts and just lots of skating, all these YouTube videos I've made, my knees aren't giving me a problem at all. So my main thing is my lower back. That's the thing that's been sucking. I've never broken a bone, but I have hit my head a lot, and only one of them was reported as a concussion, but I've gotten knocked out maybe 5 times or so. Now, these are rookie numbers compared to people in MMA or even people in football. At my high school, people on the football team, one dude would get 4 concussions that year. Not great, and we all know, I think, the long-term effects that can cause. It's your brain, I don't know if it just fills up with fluids or does something bad, but it leads you into being depressed, suicidal, these things. There seems to be a correlation with the amount of concussions you get with your mental state. And I don't know if that's what caused it, but in the last 4 years, I mentioned this a lot, I was really going through it mentally. And I don't know if that was the repercussion of long-term head injuries or not, but one huge piece of advice that a lot of people had for that was taking creatine. So I started taking creatine mostly for that, and I was working out at the same time, so it was kind of this perfect mix, and I do feel better. I don't know if it's the creatine alone. I had a lot more recommendations. Somebody recommended something called like Brain X or something, or I forget what it was called, but I'm really, really weary of supplements and anything, so I'm even creatine, I was like, all right, this is sort of my limit right now, and it seems to be doing well. So 24 years of skateboarding, what I got away with at the end was really just lower back pain, an injury I'm going through right now from a very specific injury I just had, but when I'm good, I don't feel it that much, but it is always like kind of there. And again, this is something my wife experiences as well. So let's get into what I think is the more interesting conversation and something I don't have enough education about, but what is the balance? How much do you need to move? And before that, I do want to mention one more thing. What skateboarding is in its nature. Skateboarding is a dangerous sport. I think nowadays, because it's in the Olympics and because we perceive all these other sports and we go, there's a comment that you see a lot that's about skateboarders wearing helmets. Why don't skateboarders wear helmets? Okay, so the main reason is because skateboarding is inherently a dangerous sport. That's the point of the sport. It's not really supposed to be a sport. And even me calling it that right now, there's a lot of people who are gonna have problems with that. But if you're competing in skateboarding, it's a sport. If you're not, it's just a hobby, I would say, or like a lifestyle or something fun or whatever. For me, it was never a sport. It was just this dangerous thing that I wanted to do. You can make it less dangerous by putting on a helmet. You can make it less dangerous by putting on elbow pads, knee pads. You can make it the most safe, the least dangerous by not doing it at all. So it's always been such a strange argument because it's like, well, you can put on the helmet for sure, but you can also do a lot of things. You can also not do it at all. The point of the helmet, obviously, is to save you from these horrible things you might experience later that football players experience, that other people experience. Dying, people have died on skateboards all the time. But I don't know how to explain to someone who doesn't have that internal lust for a bit of spice and danger. I understand that it can be seen as like this stupid whatever thing, and yes, it is, but we all think and feel differently about the things we're into in our lives, and I think we need to live in more of a society of understanding one another rather than being like, oh, you have a stupid perspective and I have the smart perspective. It's like, no, some people just have genuinely different upbringings, different ideals, and for whatever reason, a lot of people like the danger aspect of skateboarding, and a helmet basically gets rid of that completely, and people aren't really into that. It might seem stupid, lots of things seem stupid. That's the way it kind of is. I say all that because I have a friend who teaches skateboarding to kids, and he will tell them, yeah, I mean, skateboarding is all about just doing the skateboarding. You don't need to do these other exercises. You don't need to go to the gym. You don't need to be fit. You don't need to do anything. You just need to skate to be good at skating. And he said we live in this era now where everybody's about optimization, athletics, and you hear like, well, these athletes, they do this and this and this and this, and he's like, yeah, but skating, that's not how it works. It doesn't matter if you can bench press or if you train your legs or if you do, it doesn't matter. You just skate to get better at skating. And he said that he has a lot of people who have a huge problem with this. Like, they can't get past that idea. And they're also like, okay, well, what's the safest way to do it? And he's like, well, I wouldn't do it if you're trying to be safe. And he has to explain basically to this new generation of kids how skateboarding is not really like that. It's more of like the rock star thing where you just do it to get better at it, and you get messed up in the process. But I'm 34 and I don't feel very messed up now. So let's compare a sedentary body to a body like mine that has been constantly moving. Okay, so the benefits of constantly moving, resilience and motor control, cardiovascular and muscular health. You're always moving, your heart's getting that good energy. Like, I have a really good resting heart rate, and mental toughness, years of pushing through fear and learning new skills. Ironically, I don't have very good resilience in like work and like on my computer, laptop, but yes, with physical pains, I can pretty much go until my mind goes way beyond my body. So I actually have to be really weird. Like, when I was working out, the reason my shoulder is injured right now as well is because I have no idea when to stop when I'm bench pressing, because I'm so used to pain that I'm like, well, the pain is nothing. This is just, like, I don't know, pain to me is kind of fun. Like, I don't think of it as a negative thing, which is weird. The problems, obviously, overuse injuries, asymmetries, and compensation. Okay, that makes sense because I feel like one of my legs is slightly longer than the other. I don't know how that happened, probably because my lower back. And then mental fatigue. if I go out throughout the day and I have a really tough skate day, I can't do anything else. That's actually why I had to pull back from skating a little bit, because I literally could not do anything else career-wise by skating too much. Okay, now let's talk about the inactive body, someone who just sits all day. No wear and tear, obviously. You have a neutral starting point, fewer ingrained movement patterns or compensations. I don't know how that's a benefit, but the problems: weak connective tissues, ligaments, tendons, and stabilizers degrade without use, joint stiffness and poor blood flow. Inactivity leads to tightness, poor healing, and vulnerability. Similar injuries, less tolerance. Without movement exposure, even small issues become debilitating. Okay, so beyond this, I think a simple way to think about it is overuse and underuse, and there is such thing. So how do you find the balance? The ideal zone is consistent, smart movement that challenges but doesn't overwhelm. It's about progressive overloading, not too much, not too little. Recovery, mobility, and variety are crucial for both extremes. Okay, and that's pretty much it. It's not really exciting. I think people really overestimate the damage that sports and movement have on people, but there's overuse versus underuse, and then there's whatever's in the middle. And I think that there's just like luck a lot of times as well. You know, with me hurting my back, that was a very specific injury, jumping down a set of stairs this one time. And sure, maybe it was the accumulation of all the things, or maybe it was the accumulation of all the sitting I do as well. Because recently, with this injury in my lower back, it's actually way easier for me to notice the little things that affect your back negatively, because everything's at such a high extreme. So when I sit down, my back hurts right away. So when I stand, I'm fine. But if I stand for too long, my body still starts to feel a little compressed. So then I hang onto a bar, and then I start popping and stretching, and it feels good again. Go up to a door frame, I start moving around, and I pop, and then I feel good again. Or I get on the ground and I get on all fours and put my hands out like this, like I'm doing a big bow, and that helps as well. So there's these little things that I just do throughout the day. But I think just the way that we sort of all have to live our lives in a lot of ways, especially with all the sitting that we just have to do, because we all have to contribute to a society, AKA make rich people richer. And most of that requires us sitting a lot, which is really unfortunate. All that being said, I am working out consistently now. I am active still all the time. I'm always walking, I'm always moving. And even without skating now, I actually feel like I've been way better at taking care of myself. To me, the part about skateboarding that actually was the worst was how the mental fatigue was after a 4-hour session, just how unbelievably worn out I was. Even though I didn't feel like I was getting a good workout, I was just like, it's a lot of intensity because you're a little nervous the whole time because you're trying tricks that are a little scary. Sometimes it's really scary, and when you do that, adrenaline really, really cramps your muscles as well. So it's kind of nice now. I feel like I'm just like working out at a consistent rate and just, yeah, feeling life. So I appreciate you watching. Thanks for enjoying this video if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. I know I'm uploading consistently right now. It's just because I want to. So all right, that's it. Take care, progress daily, and keep killing it.